Man in the room. We got him in the room. Okay.
Let's get this conversation going. Vegas in the house.
See, I was all on the wrong page. I was up here on your other page, waiting for the thing to go live. I'm up here all wrong. How's it going?
It's good. It's good. Yes, earring.
How's everything, Doc?
Everything is good. We was just, waiting on you to join. I was sort of giving people a brief introduction of who you are, some of the things that you've done. You've been touring with Erykah Badu and all that good writer, producer, skater, and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
We touched on a little bit about your background while we was waiting on you to step into the room. So
step on into the room. Come on in the room.
I was waiting on that. Now, listen, where you located right now? Where you quarantined?
Right now, I'm in Los Angeles, California.
Ooh, LA. I love talking to people from LA. I always like to get their thoughts on the LA experience. How long have you been out there?
I've been out here 6 years. I'm originally from Cleveland, so I'm not of LA. I just live in LA.
Oh, okay. Very good distinction. Mm-hmm. I was there from I think 2015 to 2018.
Okay.
So I want to walk people back into how you first sort of got into music, because not only do you come from a musical background, like in terms of your family, but I feel like you've been surrounded by music all your life at this point.
Yeah, it was as I said once before on the Scorpion show, music took me serious before I took it serious, because it's just always been there. I didn't know what or how I was going to do what I wanted to do. Because singing was always a part of the criteria. We would wake up, we would have our I would do my schoolwork, we would have our music lesson, like it was just always there. So yeah, I didn't really take it serious until about 16.
So was it an expectation that you would sort of go into music?
No, I wasn't forced to do anything. It was all my own personal, like, I think this is what I want to do. And it was when I was on a tour with Earth, Wind & Fire at 16. I was a production assistant. What's going on, cousins? How y'all doing? Y'all over here lying. Come on in. Yes. So, and I got a chance to sing with one of the guitarists in the band. We were in the hallway at the Greek Theater out here in LA. And my dad was like, "So is this what you want to do?" And I was like, I think this is what I want to do. And so we kind of started the process of, okay, this is what you need. And, asking, what kind of mic do you want to use? And what, this, that, and the third. Because he had gave me a headset. I'm like, no, I need a mic stand. I need a mic stand, sir.
You didn't want to do a little Janet?
And, I guess that would make sense if, let me get this light together, because these blinds is up here. No, I needed my mic stand. That's my judge right there. Need a good mic stand. And yeah. I'll wait this.
So
right here.
So that was your first experience with Earth, Wind & Fire?
No, my first experience with Earth, Wind & Fire was when I was about like 12, because my dad had been doing sound for them for so many years. So they had always been around. So they were kind of like uncles pretty much.
So it almost seems like, like what you say is true. It was inevitable that you kind of fell into this career path at this point.
Yeah, no, it was, like I said, music chose me before I took it serious. And I just, I decided this is what would make sense as far as what I would want to do for a living. Because anything else, granted, there are other things that I can do, but I love creating and figuring out ways that I can make sense of what's going on in my head, and it's filtered through music the best way.
Did it take you a minute to figure out like your particular sound, or what kind of moved you at such a young age?
That, I feel like that did take a little second, just a tiny second, but jazz and gospel was always in the house. And then, you know, Erykah being an exception because I couldn't listen to anything else. So like stuff like the Waiting to Exhale soundtrack and TLC's Crazy Sexy Cool and all that was contraband in the house. That was contraband.
Okay.
I'm still trying to figure out how my 8-year-old self got a hold of the Velvet Rope album. I'm still trying to figure out how that even happened. So yeah. What Mama was not having it.
Was there a particular song off of any of those albums that you really sort of gravitated to that made you say, I want to do something like this someday?
Nah. I've just always loved all type of music. There might have been songs that I really loved that I didn't understand what was being talked about or what was, you know, the depth of it. But Apple Tree by Erykah Badu, it just speaks. I was cleaning my house, my bathroom actually one day, and that came on in the shuffle, and I'm literally in the bathroom yelling out these lyrics like, bitch, I do it pleases me because I can't please you. Like, that's why I do what I do. Like, this is a whole word. And if you don't want to get down with me, bitch, then you just don't want to be down. So too bad for you. Like, it's shit.
That whole album is a mood. Like, I felt like when I first heard it, I felt like that was one of those albums I could listen to from start to finish.
Absolutely. And it's under an hour.
And I felt that way about Jill Scott's first album as well.
Yes, absolutely. Sam Sack.
Did you happen to catch the Erykah versus
Absolutely.
Jill Scott?
Absolutely.
What were your thoughts on it?
I don't know what people thought that was gonna happen. I felt like purposely Erykah was trying to be like the Teddy Riley of the whole thing. I felt like she was purposely doing that. But it also goes to show that she's going to entertain us. Like, she's going to put on a show. But the only thing I would have wanted was just a couple of other songs from Erykah that I would have liked to hear. Like, I wish she would have played Kiss Me on My Neck. And I wish she would have played Certainly. But Jill played my favorite song by her of all time, and that's Honey Molasses. That is my favorite song by her. And I've actually done that when I did my tour, when I did Soundcheck, and I hit Philly, and I did that. And a few people in the audience went up because they were like, I was like, yes. Oh, no, we're doing album cuts. I don't know what y'all thought this was. Okay.
Can you talk to us about that experience with working with Erykah? Since we on that subject, I was going to wait until later to kind of broach it, but I feel like now is a good time.
Yeah.
How did you end up? How did that end up happening?
I get asked this question all the time. The internet. I was just posting videos up on YouTube, and my recipe for dope was moving enough for her to reach out to me personally, and she's like, "I want you in my band." So that's how that was. Literally, it was that simple.
And so then, and from there, you just get a call. She says, "I want you," and then you fly to.
So we text at first. We were texting at first, and then she was saying like, I think your harmonies are so warm, and this, that, and the third. Because I put out a compilation EP called 8, the stepson of Erykah Badu. And she heard it, she tweeted it, she all that stuff. She said she was floored, she loved it, all that stuff. And so what happened? That following year, because this happened in 2010, and then the following year, January 2011, she reached out. Well, actually, she sent out just a random tweet and said, "I'm looking for Durand Bernarr. Spell my name correctly," and all that stuff. And I hit her up, and she sent me her number. She said, "Text me." And so we're texting a little bit. But then, one day I just decided to call. And she picked up. And I'm like, "Hi." I'm glad to actually talk to you. And so we just started talking about, you know, like just, you know, our backgrounds and how she did theater and I did theater. And, you know, she's just like, she's like, I just really love what you do. Like, I want to bring you to Dallas so we can get into a rehearsal and this, that, and the third. And I want to bring you on the road with me. And I just remember, like, after hanging up on the phone with her, I literally just like, bitch! Bitch! I woke my mother up out of her sleep. I'm like, guess what? Oh my gosh. So that was like, and then of course we ended up meeting up later that spring because I came out here for a memorial service like in April, and that's when she was doing Coachella for the first time, and I had never even heard of Coachella. So I got it. That was my first gig with her doing Coachella. I'd never been in front of that many people before. I was all out of uniform, didn't nobody tell me what they was wearing, and I was all loud in the mic. Like there was one section in the, oh my good, no, seriously, it's still up, it's on YouTube. She goes to go into Kiss Me on My Neck. Mind you, I had asked the girls who were doing background, I was like, you know, they were like, well, she ain't did Kiss Me on My Neck in, you know, X amount of years. And so I don't know if it was because of the conversation she and I had, but when she randomly goes, I want somebody. Yeah. Y'all like that? Y'all want me to do that? I'm in the mic like, yes. All in the mic. And she starts singing a song. You see me in the back like, praise and worship. And like just all, like, I'm just so excited to be there. Not only am I excited to be here, but then you're doing a song that's my favorite song that they said you haven't done in years. So now this is my first gig with you. It was such a wonderful, magical show for me. And I get off stage and it was like somebody cut a huge ass onion in front of me because I could not stop crying.
Wow.
Yeah.
So is it true? I've heard this and I don't know this to be true, but I want to ask you, since you're right here, does she change up the set list quite frequently when she goes on tour?
It's never the same show. It's never the same show. And that's what's fun about it, because it keeps you on your toes.
Yeah.
It's like, as she told me when I asked her, when she said, I need you to learn all my material. And I was like, well, what songs are we doing? And she just said, all of them. And I'm like, that's a lot of material, you know, but it's even stuff that we've done in rehearsal that's not even released, that we did like 3 years ago. And then she wants to pull it up out of nowhere like, oh, let's do Dear Misery. And we like, Pop, what's my note again? If you don't notice this, no, wait, what's the tag? Like, it's just, but it, like I said, it just keeps us on our toes. I have fun with it because, like, even with doing theater, you have to stick to, you know, a certain, yeah. So with
I
her,
get it.
it's like it's an experience, you know.
I was mad. I saw her in DC and I was mad because she didn't do Bag Lady. I was like,
yeah, sometimes it'll either be a toss up sometimes between like Didn't You Know, Bag Lady, or Tyrone. And
Didn't You Know is everything.
That's that one. Absolutely. Yeah.
What would you say would be some of the biggest lessons that you learned from touring with her? And I think in specific, I would love for you to talk to somebody that may be watching us right now that is wanting to do what you do.
Okay. Well, starting on that, I would say put your best foot forward out there, because you never know who's watching. So it's not about getting on camera like, I'm sick, but I'm gonna. If you're sick, then do it another day. I'm not trying to hear no excuses, because you don't know because once it's out there, it's out there. Whatever your recipe for dope is, we don't know what that is. You know, it's just whatever moves someone. And as far as like the lessons that I've learned, shit, don't take yourself so seriously. Have fun, but know your shit. Don't expect other people to be who you are. If you're going to do something, do it out of the kindness of your heart without any expectation of someone giving it back to you. The only thing I trust about a person is for them to be themselves. There are just so many nuggets that have been dropped on me, and this is just at 22. So it's taking your time, listening, just yeah. I'll just stop right there because there's just so many of them.
Because you've been on tour for quite some time with her.
9 years this year.
Yeah, like, so for me, I always wonder, like, is life on the road, does that get lonely, or how do you handle that?
Well, that wasn't my first time on the road. So I started on the road at 16 as a production assistant for Earth, Wind and Fire. So I was doing behind the scenes stuff. I was getting to the venue, at noon or at 11 o'clock and having to set up the production office, having to, start the, what was I doing? Doing merch. I was, replenishing the tour buses. I was doing a lot of stuff all at the same time. And then my first gig, as far as singing background, was with an artist named Kanya Doss. And she's originally from Cleveland, Ohio. And I was already a fan of her stuff before they had said, hey, Kanya's looking for, a boy for, background, this, that, and the third. So when I came in and auditioned and I already knew her stuff, she was like, oh, I didn't know you do my stuff, because she's not like, mainstream. So I did a few gigs with her traveling, just stateside. And then that was in like 2009 to 2010. And then 2011 is when Erykah picked me up. So I've been on the road for a while. So it doesn't get lonely because I'm around, at least for me, I'm around people that I like. I'm around people that have become family, and I get to, and then especially if I go somewhere where I know other people there, like I'm never like alone. And if I am alone, it's because I need some alone time.
Do you ever have to find yourself in positions of working, like, a lot of people that work maybe corporate jobs with people that you don't like? How do you manage that being on tour, if it happens at all?
Yeah, it has happened. And you just have to kind of compartmentalize and just do your job. Like, I'm here to do a job. I'm not here. The main thing is, you're not here to make friends. You're here to do a job. You're here to do a service. So that's first and foremost. If you happen to develop camaraderie within that, that's dope. But if you don't, that's not why you're here. So yeah, I've had to do that. And I mean, but it's far in between. I'll say that. It's very far in between where I've had to work with people that I just could not stand, or I just felt like there was just, a constant butting of heads.
How do you, as an artist who is on tour with another artist, get paid? And this is not asking what you get paid,
right,
but I think for a lot of people don't know how someone who is on tour with another artist gets paid. How does that typically work?
You get paid per gig.
Okay.
Yeah, whenever you need it, you get paid per gig. I'm not sure what it's like to be, as far as working on the road and you get like a salary or something like that. But yeah, just for me, it's just per gig.
I see a question here that I want to ask. Someone asked, how did you come to know Leanne LaHavis?
So someone introduced me to her music literally 2 weeks before I met her, because she opened up for Erykah in London at the Hammersmith, I do believe. And I met her, and then we were there the year prior, and she said that the concert that she went to see Erykah at, the year that Erykah gave me my solo and I laid on Erykah's heels and hitting all type of notes, she said that night inspired her to write her first album. So it was like a full circle moment. And then when I finally got a chance to meet her, she was like, I already knew who you were. And I'm just like, oh, like, this is too much. Like, I'm a fan. And so the fact that you know me already is just so. And then we made that video where we were singing her song "Lost and Found" in the hallway right there. So yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So for those who were asking, I saw somebody ask in the chat if this will be saved. Yes, it'll be up here for the next 24 hours. And then we'll post some clips as well after the live has ended as well.
Yeah.
So I wanted to follow up with that with asking, outside of Erykah, and because you've had a lot of experiences, particularly being on tour with artists and working in different capacities, has there been any particular artist that really stands out to you that has really sort of helped you, maybe more so than any of the others? Or that something that they said to you really just stuck out to you, or something that they did for you really just stuck out to you?
I mean, aside from Erykah being just very generous with just her space and her advice and her love and just all of that, I'd probably say when Philip Bailey was able to like just sit down and talk to me when I was 16 and just give me some pointers about, you know, this is what you need to do as far as, you know, your music, and you need to get this equipment, and you need to, so to be able to sit down with like, let that, sometimes I don't even feel like they realize who they are. It's like, because they've been uncles to me, so it's, I never got a chance to view them from a faraway stance. It's always been up close, like them. That's Uncle Phil, that's Uncle Verdine, you know, Uncle Ralph. I never got a chance to meet Maurice White. By the time I came along, I think he wasn't feeling too well, and so that's, you know, he wasn't on the road. But yeah, just the fact that Philip Bailey of Earth, Wind, and Fire took time to talk to me, have me come into his dressing room before the show and just talk to me about what it is that I needed to do to apply myself. And yes, that's just, that alone, that moment alone is just so priceless to me.
I have a question here. Someone asked what it was like to work with Ari Lennox.
Well, that's my friend. That's actually next year. No, I'm sorry, not next year. Next month, it will be 10 years that we've known each other.
Are you serious?
Yes. Matter of fact, let me show you guys. Let me show you a picture. Let me see where I can find it. Did I save it? Did I put it in my favorites? Did I? No. So it's in my Dropbox. Hold on. So me and Ari met off YouTube. Like, we were, you know, doing covers, and we shared the same, you know, sense of humor and love for different types of music, and you know, so that's where that came about. And where are we at? Where are the pictures? This is so ghetto. Oh, when you're coming on, I'm gonna give you all of my love. I'm gonna put it on. Here it is right now. This is me and Ari back in the day. My word, look at us. When we first met.
Oh, snap.
When we first met 10 years ago. 10 years. Back when we was just wearing whatever we wanted to wear, okay? Oh, my word. Baby, I pulled up some of them pictures. I said, what was we doing? Baby, what is you doing?
As you both are sort of growing in your artistry and achieving more, what is that like to have somebody that you're like, okay, we started here and now we both here and here and here? What does that feel like?
I am so proud of her. I'm so proud of how, because at first she started out as Courtney Salter, and then she had to change her name. What's up, Brand? They Have the Range is in the house. I need to go follow They Have the Range, okay, where the best singers are.
Okay.
She had to change her name because her old manager like trademarked her name, her legal name. So the fact that she, right. This is why you got to watch The Founder, the story of how McDonald's came about, okay? Because, hey, Catrice, the fact that Ray Kroc came and stole the McDonald's franchise from underneath the McDonald's brothers' feet, trademark their name. It's crazy. So you got to trademark your name. That's why that TM by my name, okay, it's mine. Try me if you want to. But
I
anyway.
saw that actually. I was like,
my name is trademark. Oh no. But anyway, just to see the fact that she came up out of the ashes, she's literally like a phoenix. She came up out the ashes of what somebody thought they was gonna do to her, and she came out 10 times as strong. Got with a really good team. At least I feel like it's a good team. And she's just out here shining, and she still remained the same awkward, goofy, funny girl that I met 10 years ago. Of course, she's grown, she's evolved, but that's still my friend, and she always kept her word. She was like, "Nah, I did that remix." She was like, "Fran, I'm gonna get that on some kind of Spotify something." And when I got a chance to speak to her manager, and he was like, "Yeah, we're putting out, this." A remix EP, and we're going to put that song on there. And I thought that it was going to be a conglomerate of songs. It was only 3 tracks. I was like, yo, and it just, yeah. And it was nice to see people that have been following both of us for a long time, and they're just like, oh, it's so good to hear y'all on the track together. It's just so, and I just feel like she's the Roberta Flack to my Donnie. Like, she's just, yeah.
I feel like one of the things that I sort of witnessed in LA was that the artist community is very, very strong in LA.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very strong. Are there any other people who like Ari that you sort of keep in contact with, or you kind of have that type of relationship with?
That I've known that long? Let me see. Who have I known? Like, why am I drawing a blank right now?
And I know that's probably a big pool of people to pull from, but I just, I just wanted to know.
But if we're talking about people that I've known that long, it's like I gotta go. Maybe since I've moved out here, we got like Gene Noble. We have who else? Like, darn it! Like, and that's like, I hate this. Let me go through my playlist. Like, what? Who like Sam Sparrow is another one. The Internet is another one that I been listening to since before I moved out here, and we got a chance to work together for their Ego Death album. So like the ooze you hear on Girl and Something's Missing and I Tried, like that's me. Shoot. I really wish I had this list together because I just know so many homies, but I'm like, yeah.
What about Anderson
Jay
.Paak?
Davy is another one. Right. Thank you. Jay Davy is another group of my favorite band. Actually, they're not they've disbanded since then, but I've gotten a chance to work with them individually. And that was dope because it's like I literally was listening to you guys at 19, and then I moved out here to Los Angeles, and now we're friends, and I got a chance to get Jack on a song, and I've been able to collaborate. Like, it's dope when you move out to a place where you can be productive.
Yeah.
And you are like friends with your favorites, so that's just I'm just grateful for that. That's all I can really say about it.
Anderson .Paak.
Yes.
How did that come about?
So I got a chance to open up for the Internet at the Fonda Theater back in 2017, I do believe. And I got a chance to open up for 2 shows, and Anderson's manager at the time was there, and he got a chance to catch my set, and he DM'd me later that night, and he was like, yo, like, I manage Anderson. Like, he was like, I gotta say, man, I'm a fan, this, that, and the third. And so I hit him up immediately, and he's like, yo, I want to link you up with Anderson. And also he had talked about Knowledge, the producer, who was one half of No Worries, that Anderson is in a group with. And apparently Knowledge had been following me since like 2008. I had no idea. So anywho, so we talked about that. Then literally January of 2018, I go to the Echoplex where Battle Cat is performing. There's George M. Muldrow is performing. Miss Jack Davy is performing. And so I went to support them. And so I get there. Thundercat is there. Leanne LaHavis is there. Joy Gilliam, Bosco, Tiffany Goucher. Shit, like who wasn't there? And then Adrian pops up, and then Anderson is right there. And I see him, I'm like, yo, bro. He was like, nigga. Like, yo, like, and then he puts his arm around me like, bro, I gotta get you on this project. And so we ended up doing 3 songs. And I did 2 hooks on one of them, and I did like some backgrounds on another one. The one that actually ended up on Ventura was Winter Circle. And you can hear me. Just doing background shit. And that was fun. Oh, and then when I went to the studio to go record these songs, I remember going there because I went at night, and I'm there chopping it up with everybody in the studio, and we just, you know, did that there. And then Dr. Dre just casually walks in, and I'm trying to catch my ass as it's falling out, because I'm like, and I was like, hey, how's it going, man? I just try to give him a nice firm handshake. But I was like, yo, after he left, I was like, yo, I'm trying to process that $1 billion worth of black man just came up in here. I'm sorry. Like, I just need to, y'all, I'm sorry, excuse me, because y'all didn't tell me he was here. Y'all could have warned the bitch. Shit. But yes, so, and then last year, I recorded some more stuff for like some new stuff that he has, you know, they might be coming out with. But yeah, no, that's the homie. I just, it's cool that I can be fans of someone and then befriend them, and now I can become a fan and a friend and a supporter.
How important is it to something I feel like as we've talked, I've gotten this pattern that of people are watching you.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like that is a repetitive pattern with a lot of the things that you have done. Mm-hmm. Have you always been consciously aware, like, okay, people have their eye on me? Or do you just kind of just go and do, you know?
Well, 2 things with that. The first 4 years of my life have been documented, which is why I was telling my therapist, yes, I'm in therapy now. Okay. And I was telling him that I don't know which memories actually belong to me, or is it the footage that I've seen, because like my first Christmas is documented, my first New Year's, my first like 3 birthdays, my first word when I started walking, like all that stuff, my mother taped that. So I've always had a camera on me. So which is why it wasn't that big of a deal when I started doing it on YouTube. I have to be conscious of eyes are on me or certain things that I can't do. And I was just saying that being the bigger person is exhausting. Being responsible is exhausting, because people will try you because they know that you're not going to do certain things, because I got shit to lose. So I gotta find other ways to get your ass. So I just gotta get it through the music. I gotta get it through artistically. Like I would just read you your Miranda rights, your Durand rights until I see fit. So now you'll never die because you're immortal. So you know the whole thing with Tyrone, even though the song wasn't even about Tyrone, it was about Tyrone's friend, but we know about Tyrone more than the actual nigga that she's singing about. So either way, both y'all gonna be immortal. Y'all ain't never gonna die. So I'm just gonna make sure you never die. I'm gonna turn what you did into a bop, you know. And that's, so I have to be smart about how I maneuver through this, because it's just, yeah, people, and we live in a cancel culture, you know, and it's just like, but that ain't real, because I mean, I was about to say something, but I'm gonna just because you know I love triggering people, but you know. We're going to do that a little later before, but I'm going to take you into the trigger room. That's a little later.
So listen, since you sort of brought it up, what is your process for writing your own music?
So now I can come up with like, you know, lyrics, you know, I might be having a conversation or, you know, whatever, and I'll just jot that down maybe. But now I will hear a song, I'll have the melody, I'll construct the melody in the song, and then I'll make the lyrics fit the melody. So that's what I do. Is
there a formula for writing a hit song for you, or that you've noticed in your?
I'm gonna give you an example of what a hit song is.
We like those.
And I always use her as an example because this is my friend and I love her.
Okay, we like examples.
Yes. Oh yes, and a good example. So a hit song has a couple things for me. It has a tag. A tag is that thing that gets stuck in people's heads. So like, you know, when you come in on that FaceTime, you got that so it's like, okay, so that's something that'll get stuck in people's heads. We need something repetitive, something catchy that everybody can sing along with. Even if you are like a vocalist, you need to have room for the homies that don't sing, that they can, you know, can get stuck in their head. Also, something and constructed in a way that's simple enough that everyone can sing along, you know, with. So I use this song as an example. Right here.
Pink Cadillac, okay.
We have a song coming out, by the way, on the 26th. She and I collaborated. The song is about right here. Maybe won't spend this in a place before I am. I'll be clutching first on in fair contracts. Taking heat off the gas. Here comes the tag right here. Beep, beep, toot, toot. Beep, 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 toot, toot. Beep, 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 coming through. So it's like, give us something fun, catchy. That's going to catch.
What is the name of that song again? Because I need that.
It's Pink Cadillac by Queen Herbie.
And y'all have a song coming out on the 26th. What is that called? Can you tell us what the name of it is?
Absolutely. I'll play a snippet for you because she
said. Oh, good. I was gonna ask that, but I don't know if you could.
So she does like, okay, so if you guys are familiar with the group Carmen back in the day on
YouTube, she had the red hair.
Yeah. And also if you guys don't remember, if you remember the two white folks, husband and wife, Nick and Amy, he was on the keys, and they did a cover of Look at Me Now by Chris Brown, and Amy did all of Busta Rhymes parts. Like Mama did not miss
I remember.
So later on, Nick was like, I don't want to be an artist, I just rather focus on production. So she created this whole other moniker because they were doing pop music at first. Yeah. And they did and so he took a back seat and just started working on production. She changed her name to Queen Herbie and started doing R&B and trap stuff. And Mama has the formula for a hit record. She just, I mean, all of her songs are so catchy. So anywho, I got a message on Facebook back in like September. I have to go back and see when I posted the picture of us, and they were like, bitch, I didn't know you had an IG and Adam Lambert and Queen Herbie is following you. And I'm like, bitch, who the fuck is Queen Herbie? I know who Adam Lambert is. And so he starts sending me Carmen videos, and I'm like, don't know her. And so then he sent the Look at Me Now cover, and I was like, oh yeah, I know that bitch. I know her. And he's like, yeah, she changed her name to Queen Herbie and da-da-da-da-da. So he sent me a couple songs. The song that stuck out to me was BDE. It was acronym for Big Dick Energy. And I was like, okay, bitch, this is cute. So I went to go follow her. This bitch sent me a DM the year prior. Like, yo, boss, like, let's work.
You need to check them DMs.
I know. So it was so timely. And so I responded. I'm like, I sent her the gif of Rihanna twerking. I'm like, here my number, bitch. Let's work. Let's work. So she came by the house, and oh, that's my neighbor. I got my door open. I'm like, bitch, first of all. Okay.
I was like, oh my God, is she about to walk in?
I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, wait a minute, who got keys? Anyway, so yeah, she came by, we talked, we were watching her videos. She has like, hella content up. And so I went to her spot with her husband, and because they're still together, Nick, shout out to Nick, because he produces all the shit. And we were just like, okay, well, what are we going to talk about? And Nick literally goes, I can see you guys sitting down, just smoking a blunt, like, I'm amazing, bitch, and you know it. And I said, oh, that's what we're doing? We're clowning like that? Got it. And so I did the hook, and she's like, well, what is your element that you bring to your music? And I said, well, I bring stacked vocals with no auto-tune. Thanks, Nick, no auto-tune. And I need a live bass. So that's what we did. So here's a little snippet. The song is called Self-Aware.
Okay.
I'm amazing, bitch, and you know it. I don't have to say shit, cause I show it. Oh, yeah. You said I think I'm all that, but you thought right. That explains why you're dreaming about me last night. Okay. I'm amazing, bitch, and you know it. I don't have to say shit, cause I show it. And you said I think I'm all that, but you thought right. That explains why you're dreaming about me last night.
People ask me why I gotta stay. Santa Claus to these bitches.
Yes.
For these bitches buy me flames. I got bobs lined up like a buffet. Self-aware, goddamn, I'm amazing. Wrote a hit again, it don't even face me. Improvising like I'm Wayne Brady. Who's mine, bitch is mine, you can pay me.
Okay.
Sleepy ass nigga tearing abscesses. I'ma keep on smoking while I'm giving you these vocals. Best believe I never left, but the keys stay right.
I'm amazing, bitch, and you know it. I don't have to say shit, cause I show it. You said I think I'm all that, well you thought right. That explains why you're dreaming about me last night. I'm amazing, bitch, and you know it. I don't have to say shit, cause I show it. You said I think I'm all that, well you thought right. That explains why you're dreaming about me last night.
So yeah.
Yo. That's a banger.
Yeah, and it was so much fun stepping into her world. Like, how am I gonna attack this? I can't play the second verse because that's when I come in and I tear it up. And I had her singing. I was like, no, I'm not singing that top part, ma'am. You're gonna sing that in your chest. You're gonna sing that part right there.
And the song is called Self-Aware, right?
Self-Aware. It's on her new EP 8. It'll be out on the 26th of this
So
month.
we all got to make sure we cop that. Now, I want to talk to you about this song, Around. Boomerang.
Yes.
Lean Away.
Yes.
How did that happen?
Yet another DM that I missed a year
Oh,
in advance.
we're going to take your
Yes.
Instagram away.
I'm literally at my homegirl's house. This is when I was still on Couch Ministries. And I'm right. So I'm telling my homegirl, like, I'm watching Issa Rae interviews, I'm watching Tiffany Haddish interviews, and I came across Lena Waithe. And I had seen like a couple of her she did some Mastermind. I think that's what the show was on Netflix. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, okay, I like her. Let me go follow. So I went to go follow, and it said follow back. I'm like, nigga. So I went to go hit message. She had responded to a story of mine the year prior. I was like, and I sent her all these crying emoji faces. I'm like, I did not know. I'm like, just now saying this. And so, we exchanged information. We're talking. I sent her the EP. And she's like, yo, like, I love this, but Around is my shit. She was like, I want to plug your shit in on anything that I have the opportunity to write or produce. Next thing I know, I'm getting an email from her team, and they're like, yeah, we want to use Around and da-da-da-da-da. Not only that, but then she included me in this thing that she was doing for AT&T, the Dream in Black, where they took 4 artists and they gave them a budget to shoot a video and feature them at Essence Festival. And Around was the video she wanted to do. And the song I dropped Around in 2016, actually. Mm-hmm. And so, but I wasn't mad about that. I'm just like, shoot, let's go ahead and, because I'm what I would like to do and what I would like to see artists do is go back to the first and second album and recut a dope ass album song and shoot a visual for it. Beyonce can definitely give us Hip Hop Star. Thank you. She can give us Signs. Miss Elliott can go
I was just listening to that the other day.
That's like, give us these album cuts. You know, TLC can go back and give us Take Our Time from Crazy Sexy Cool. Like, give us these album cuts and just recut them. So yeah.
Do you do your own production for your own music? Or how does that typically work?
So I'll either get sent tracks, but the one thing that I really enjoy is being in the same room as the producer and being able to create together.
Yeah.
So, and then, you know, of course, I come up with the melodies and, you know, all that stuff. There have been a couple that have came up with some melodies for me, but for the most part, it's just being able to be in the same room. It's more organic, you know.
Do you have a favorite song from your last EP? And I know it's kind of hard to choose a favorite sometimes, but like, is there one that just stands out for some reason?
As Erykah would say, I don't like to say favorite because then that's like choosing my children. What I'll say is what's in most rotation.
Okay, that's fair.
Mm-hmm. What's in most rotation? It'll probably be in between Check Upstairs and Search Party, and probably more so Search Party, especially now, because Search Party in particular, because it talks about being so overwhelmed by what's going on externally that you need to kind of get lost in something that's going to help you kind of, you know, regroup. And for me, that was music. You know, I just need to get so lost in my music, in something that's going to help me grow, that's going to help me get whatever it is I need to get off my chest. And when I'm ready to surface, I'll holler at y'all. But, you know, don't think you're going to find me, you know. So I feel like it's kind of appropriate for the time being right now, actually.
Yeah. What do you see for yourself coming up next? Like, you know, what do you have planned? What can we look forward to outside of that? Self-aware. I mean, because I need to go back and get a lot of her music. But
oh yeah, go back to the first EP. When she said I got bops lined up like a buffet, she's not lying. She's not lying. So so first and foremost, I'm working on my album, and I'm giving in like a full-length LP. It's 13 tracks.
Thank you.
50 minutes.
I love an album.
An album, yeah. It's because I mean it's been 4 years since I put out some like an actual project. So I'm gonna go ahead and give an album.
Thank you.
And it's self-titled. And this is I'm actually getting people acclimated with a current version of who I am. I think a lot of the old material that I was putting out, y'all were getting an expired version of me. So it was kind of like it was like, okay, I went through this like 3-4 years ago and I'm in a completely different space. So now I'm able to release some content that is current, that is where I am now.
Yeah.
And I'm finally singing about sex. I've never sang about sex before. Nope. Not the actual act of it.
Oh.
No. I'm actually
we getting intimacy. Okay.
I'm actually singing about heated fellowship. So it's like, that's the other thing. Cause I'm like, how would I talk about that at 30? Because the way everyone else talks about sex, it's like, that's not my approach. So I would say things like, stop not being ready so you ain't got to get ready, because if I'm on stage, you're gonna be right there with me. Like, don't think you're gonna do anything to me that I can't do to you. Like, that's the type of shit I'm talking about. So, you know.
Okay, and then what kind of sound can we expect to hear from you this go round?
Herbie coined it so perfectly. It is gangster musical theater.
I like that description.
It is gangster musical theater. It is a bunch of like literally a whole skit of just like you have West Coast, you have like Raphael Sadiq, you have Nate Dogg, you have like Bossa Nova with some Sade, you have like some elements of like Andre 3000. You have like Isley Brothers. You have.
I was gonna say earlier, as I was listening to your EP, that I felt the spirit of Andre 3000. Okay,
yeah.
But I didn't want to say it at the start of it because I was like, I don't know if he's gonna feel that. But that's what I felt.
No, I love Andre. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Yeah. It's funny because there's one song in particular where they're like, somebody every time they hear it, they're like, okay, 4 stacks. You know, and I don't consider myself a rapper. And by the way, as far as like all the titles go, I just consider myself a performance artist because it's just because I have a theater background and I'm accustomed to like, even when I hear certain tracks and I'm like, man, I would like to hear somebody rap on this. And I'm like, well, let me just do a little draft and see what personality can come up out of that. So there's been like a song where I was trying to channel ODB, you know. So it's just like, yeah. So I'm just, and also to keep in mind, the human voice interests me so much because of the different things and the different layers that we have with it and what we can do. So when we talk about like a vocal Mount Rushmore that is of mine, the ladies are Erykah Badu, Lisa Fisher, Phyllis Hyman, and Sarah Vaughan. And we have to give our honorable mention to Jill Scott and Layla Hathaway. As far as men are concerned, we have B. Slade, formerly known as Tone, Rick James, Luther Vandross, Nate Dogg, and then I have to give an honorable mention to Philip Bailey and Crash Cut. Okay, if you don't know who Crash Cut is, Levon Crash Cut Bennett, look him up. He's also E40's cousin. And then as far as characteristics, we have Jim Carrey, we have Bugs Bunny, we have Dave Chappelle, we have Ricky Smiley, we have Little Richard, and we have Babs Bunny. Like these are the things that make up all of me.
So we can expect to hear all of that come through the music.
Absolutely. You're going to hear a lot of hell, yeah. You're going to hear just, I mean, it's just, and the main thing is you're going to laugh.
Okay.
That's the main thing. And I've been wanting to incorporate more and more comedy into my music, because the last person that was able to be funny as well as serenade people was Jamie Foxx. Oh, and I have to give a shout out, and also have to give a shout out to Bo Burnham too, as far as like a characteristic inspiration. Okay.
Well, listen, Instagram will cut us off in about 2 minutes, but before we do that, I would just like to say thank you for stopping by tonight. You have to come back at some point soon, because I got a whole list of questions I ain't even get a chance to ask.
I mean, it's not gonna cut us off at 5.
Listen, it is, because the last one I did, it just cut us off. So I don't want that to happen.
I mean,
so we're gonna save it.
I mean, if you still got questions, it ain't nothing to just log back off and log back on. Like it's so you want to ask the questions. Let's ask the question.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask this question: when can we expect the album?
Whenever it finishes getting mixed. That's the process I'm going through right now.
Okay, so it's in that process.
Yeah. I don't have to record anything. Yeah, no, it's literally getting mixed as we speak.
Okay, so then what we can do is you got to come back and talk with us. Mm-hmm. Maybe we can find a way at that. Maybe we can find a way at that point to do it in person.
Yeah, once you've gotten the chance to digest the project, I'm gonna be putting some visuals together finally. And yeah, Anastasia, as my homegirl says, runs are ornamental, not fundamental. Okay, ornamental, not fundamental. Help us now.
All right, Durand, I want to thank you so much for stopping by tonight. We will check back in with you in a couple of weeks or a couple of months, just depending on when you want to talk.
Yeah.
And otherwise, thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you here next Thursday, same time, same place. We don't know who yet, but be on the lookout for it. Thank you.
Peace, y'all. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
All right, bye.
All right, bye.